What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Alex Ralph, and my arm is still jacked up if anybody's still curious, but we're going to keep on keeping on. Today, I want to talk about Instagram. Instagram used to be a photographer's app. You take a photo, you throw a filter on it, you post it, and you're done. But nowadays, it seems like staying on top of everything that is Instagram is essentially taking on a full time job. Seems like nowadays all the algorithm really cares about is short form video, whether that's, TikToks, Reels, Shorts, whatever the case is. But I get it. I mean, everybody loves to doom scroll nowadays. But the problem is, at heart, I'm still a photographer and I want to take photos. But I feel like I have to put most of my attention and effort towards making short form video just to be seen. And I don't necessarily have a problem with making video. I love making videos, but I love taking photos. So I don't want to take a photo so it can sit on a hard drive somewhere. I want to share it, with like the 20 people that like my photos. But it's not just about posting a photo anymore. You have to make sure that the colors match and you're keeping a theme and the photo is representative of your identity and your brand. And then the question is this photo a representation of my work or my interests? You know what I'm saying? Did I take a cool photo that I just thought was pretty? Or is it something that's going to further my business? And if you're lucky, those two things could potentially be one and the same. But that's not necessarily the case for me. My photography is all over the place. I don't necessarily have like a niche. One day I'm shooting portraits, another day I'm shooting a wedding, the next day I'm shooting wildlife, then I'm doing some, commercial work, product work. I'm doing short form content for businesses and restaurants, and then I'm in here doing miniature photography. I'm doing sports photography. It's all over the place, but I like taking pictures, and these opportunities present themselves, and they're fun and exciting, and people enjoy the work. I like the photos. I want to post them. I want to share them. But I do often find myself wondering if my next post is going to confuse people regarding what I do. And I'm sure a lot of you might have the same issue, and that's kind of why I decided to split my Instagram a while back ago. I keep two main Instagram accounts, or rather, assuming you can call them two main accounts, but they kind of are main accounts for their purposes. One of my accounts is Lunchbag Studio because, Lunchbag Studio. And there I post anything kind of work related, whether that be, portraits or weddings, any type of event, any type of, any type of, client work, generally speaking, of people. There's not a lot of selfies going on there. There's not a whole lot of, pretty pictures of flowers or anything like that. It's all strictly portraiture in some sense. And honestly, I don't post nearly as much as I should there, but I'm also not booking clients every single day. So when I have, a nice bulk of a couple of new photo shoots, you might see me posting for a week or two, or, I might post periodically. I might go through my backlogs and old photo shoots and find photos that I think are cool, but I never posted because I didn't want to post two pictures of the same person back to back, or maybe it didn't fit in a reel, whatever the case is. I should post there more. But that's essentially my social media portfolio. I do have a website, but we're talking Instagram right now. This is my social media portfolio. And then I have my personal main Instagram, kind of, which is at Alex Ralph, or ALX Ralph. Someone else has the handle for Alex Ralph, and I reached out several years ago and even offered to pay them for the account name, but they never responded. So I digress. But yeah, my Alex Ralph account is essentially my creative playground. That's where I post anything I want to post, essentially. I don't typically do like, selfies and things like that. Although if I take a cool photo of myself in studio or whatever the case, I'm trying to be creative. I actually might take one later today, just kind of showcase my nifty scar over here. Then I will post that, but I won't typically go around doing this and then posting that, just because I don't really see much point to it for me. I like the way I've been keeping the general aesthetic on that Instagram, even if some of you guys might disagree, but that's fine. But that account is where I post, anything creative. I frequent it most often. I'll post my day-to-day happenings on my stories there. There's not a whole lot of like really like super personal stuff going on, but if I'm hanging out with the family at the park, I'll throw that on Instagram just to kind of, like everyone else, keep everyone updated, I guess, with what I'm doing. Even sometimes behind the scenes stuff that might be going on, in studio or on location will typically go to that Instagram account because, again, I spend most of my time there. But I will tag my lunch bag account and then share it across accounts just to kind of keep it everything within like a loop, you know? But it's a whole thing, you know? It's a lot. And then truth be told, there's a third account as well. But that one's kind of on its own. That's doing its own thing. That's where I post family photos. That's where I archive kind of memories that I don't want to have sitting on a hard drive somewhere. You know, that's where my kids can kind of, think back and hey, remember that one time and find the picture quickly. You know, I don't I don't add anyone. I think I don't even know if it's private, honestly. I don't know if it is, but I don't share that with anyone. There's no point. I don't tag anything. I don't even caption the photos when they go on there, really. I might put like the date on it, but that one's pretty much just an archive of memories. So to summarize that, I've got at Lunchback Studio, which is where I share portraits and anything work related. And then I have at alx.ralph, and that's where I post anything creative, anything cool, any fun photos that I might want to share. But I'm never opposed tagging or collaborating with the Lunchback Studio account just to have it on both pages or to get, maybe a little bump in the views or whatever the case is. And then there's my family account, which is essentially just an archive of memories. So in a nutshell, I'm managing 3 separate Instagram accounts, 2 of which are regularly cross posting with each other and strategizing the theme, the grid, the color schemes, the relevance. It's a lot, and somehow I'm not posting enough. Also, still with 3 accounts, it's crazy, and that's the thing. Like Instagram has now become, instead of a platform where you can just kind of share things, you have to strategize how you share it. At least for people in the creative space. If you're just some guy out there, post. My third account is a some guy account. There's nothing going on there, and I don't need anything to go on there. But as far as the other 2 accounts, if I want to get any attention, any business, any traction on those accounts, I have to strategize, and it's a lot at times. Sometimes I'll ponder over an image or a video or something, and I start thinking to myself, like, does this fit the grid? Is it the right time of day? Should I post something else instead and have it as a buffer until this one is ready? And then I'll wind up talking myself out of posting. I'll just it goes by the wayside and it never gets posted. And what's crazy is, it makes it so much tougher when you think about the fact that photos get so much less attention than reels by comparison. At some point, you might start to wonder why even post a photo if I can post a 10-second reel of me tripping over a step and then it'll get 10 times the engagement as opposed to this, you know, landscape or portrait that I hiked for or worked on or edited for hours or collaborated with a model. Like, why even bother? And that might be a difficult question to answer for some people. For me, I like taking pictures. I hope you guys like the pictures that I take. I hope somebody, sees a photo of mine and goes, hey, that's pretty cool, and that's enough, honestly. I mean, it'd be nice to have more attention. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice if people appreciated my art. But ultimately, I like taking pictures. And when I take a photo, I'd like to share it. And if one person sees it, that's fine. If 100 people see it, that's fine. If 1,000 people see it, whatever, that's fine. Like, you see it, you see it. You don't, you don't. I hope you do. But I like taking pictures. I like the process. I like the energy behind it. I like how I feel when I get the shot, when I see the final product, when I transform an image from what it was into something that I pulled from my imagination. It's just like it's a really satisfying thing. I enjoy the entirety of photography. But yeah, all that being said, that's where I'm at. Balancing 2, occasionally 3 accounts, wondering if and when I should post. Do you guys care? Does it even matter? I like it. I guess I'm nonchalantly not caring while actively stressing about every aspect of it. If that does that even make sense? I don't know. I'll post it and I'm like, whatever, but does it match? Like, really all you can do is try not to overthink it too much and just get on with it. But I'm curious, how do you guys handle it? Do you have multiple accounts? Do you put everything just on the one page, or do you restrict what you post to your Instagram account? Do you carefully construct your grid, or do you just kind of post whatever you feel like posting? Drop a comment down below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And while you're at it, maybe follow me on Instagram. Check out my grid, and maybe I'll check out yours, and we can give each other some constructive criticism, or we can just like each other's photos. you know? Peace out, guys.